Okay, so let's get started now since we are taking up people's lunchtime. So they'll jump on little by little.
Yeah.
So today you and I are the guests. I'm so excited that we get to do this. So today we're going to talk.
Exciting?
So today we're going to talk about, you're going to talk about dietary supplementations, exercises, stuff like that to get us through menopause, things that come up way to handle hot flashes and what supplements we can take and what exercises are good for that. And I'm going to talk about mindfulness and mindset and how we can train our brain, so to speak, to navigate the hot flashes, navigate the anxiety attacks. So you're doing it from a body perspective, and I'm going to be doing it from a mind perspective, which is why I said this was about the mind-body connection with menopause. So, Natalie, you are the owner of the Life Store. You're a health coach. Maybe you want to tell us a little bit more about what you do, and then we can jump into what I do. So let's get started.
Sounds great. So one thing is, I don't want us to get through menopause. I want us to embrace and thrive in this new chapter because, okay, yes, it's scary and it can be overwhelming and the changes can like get to you, right? But I think if we recognize that we're embracing a new chapter, and if we look at it positively, I think that's so empowering. So as a health coach, I talk one-on-one with clients or in group settings, and my purpose is to show you how the right diet and the right lifestyle can support your optimal wellness. So can make you feel good, can make you have more energy, can make you sleep better, can make you feel less anxious. So we look at food choices and movement choices, thought choices, water, hydration habits, everything that goes into our physical and mental space about us being, healthy, happy individuals. And one thing is for sure, like every woman, live long enough, going to go through the stages, the perimenopause, the menopause, the postmenopause. So stands to reason that as a woman myself, we start to be exploring this space, And then I have the Life Store, which we're a health food store. We sell supplements, vitamins, protein, powders, all sorts of things that go into, like, these are now the inputs, the additional supplements to your healthy diet and lifestyle, again, to support those, specific changes. And there's targeted things that we can do depending on what you're going through. And then I've got the body contouring studio, because sometimes you're eating well, you're exercising, but that tummy spread is real. So with non-invasive body contouring, we can, targeted, non-invasive approach to those little areas that we want to fix up a little bit. Yeah.
Love that. Love that. I love the fact that you talked about not when I said getting through menopause, that you said embracing it and thriving it. And I love that because I think that's, as you said, it's going to happen whether we like it or not. So how we show up and how we go through it is going to be all on us.
How we show up. Yeah. And I guess that takes us to you as a mindset coach. Can you tell me what a mindset or a mindfulness coach, like, in your space, what does that mean?
Okay. Well, yeah, mindfulness coach. Well, I'm also a life coach, but mindfulness is this buzzword that we keep hearing everywhere. Oh, we must be mindful. We must practice mindfulness. And, and a lot of people, they're like, what it's a buzzword. What exactly does it mean? So basically mindfulness is living in the present, living in the now, not worrying about what has happened yesterday or what is to come. It's really basically being here in the now and loving all of it. So we talk about that with menopause, in that what we're going through, ladies, is real. It's happening. And that's what I go back to, how we want to show up through all of our hot flashes and our anxiety attacks and our, overthinking and all of these things that are happening. So being able to get into a mindset where we are focusing on the now, what we're feeling, what is happening, what is real, what is not real, because we know with menopause, some of the things that come up are actually the brain doing what it needs to do. So mindfulness is really basically training the brain. It's really training the brain to be centered, to be focused, to be here and now. Staying in our present, definitely staying in our present time. So yeah, that's what mindfulness is.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And there's been a lot of work, there's been a lot of books out. I think Eckhart Tolle has The Power of Now,
I've read that book.
And yeah, so whether we're looking towards tomorrow or we're thinking about yesterday, our worrying isn't going to change tomorrow, and our worrying can't fix what went wrong yesterday, and what we do have power over is today. And then, so if we're being mindful, that's one thing. That's looking at the now. How does that tie in with my mindset?
So when we're being mindful or in our mindfulness state, you actually train your mindset to be the same. So it's like the mindfulness is, let me get into the energy of, going through what I can smell, what am I hearing, what am I feeling? And then as a result of the mindfulness practices that we do, the mindset is then set, if you will, to be like that. It's like the regulator. So you go in, you practice these things, you do your breathing, you do all of these things, which I'll talk about in a little bit. You're then setting the mind to be that way. It sort of locks it in, if you will. So that's kind of what getting into the right mindset to be able to thrive in menopause. But it's the mindfulness, it's the mindfulness practices that get you to that mindset.
I gotcha. And I guess that's sort of like me, instead of going, oh, this hot flash is going to kill me, it's being more in control and not indulging in the negative side of it. I mean, I've not experienced a hot flash, but I can't imagine that there's like an awesomely embracing moment in that. Like, oh yay, thank you, Jesus, I'm having a hot flash. I don't know how I'll get there with that mindset, but I do certainly know in other aspects of life, when you put up resistance, it feels a lot worse.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
maybe in that moment, it's just like, okay, this is happening. Okay, it will pass. And gracefully allowing it to go.
There is, oh, sorry, somebody's just trying to get in. Okay. Yeah, so basically, when we're going through a hot flash then, or an anxiety attack, right? It's happening. We know it's happening. When you are in a mindfulness state, you can actually tap into that, what is happening at that moment. So, as you just said, but it's not a matter of, oh, this is going to go away, oh, it's going to pass. It's going into it so that when you journey through it with the right mindset, it's not as heavy, it's not as dark, it's not as deep, it's not as painful, whatever it is that you're going through. With the right mindset, you can actually traverse it smoother. So you talk about the resistance, that is a mindset of resistance. So that's also a mindset, resistance. Mindfulness techniques will help to overcome that resistance. Oh my God, I'm having a hot flash, I can't take this. Oh my God, then that leads to anxiety and then a panic attack. And before you know it, you're hyperventilating. It's really to get in there with that mindfulness technique to bring that level down, bring that anxiety down.
Gotcha. So then I'm hearing from you that mindfulness helps us in menopause with the anxiety, and it
Absolutely.
can help with some of those the other physical changes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So what well, how does we touched on anxiety, but how does menopause affect our mental health?
Oh, wow. Okay. So we know that during menopause, our mental health is going to go awry. Reason being is, well, you
Mhm.
have the whole chemical surges of the hormones and the dropping and the going up. So there's that whole chemical, medical side of it, then that's going to cause the mindset to go awry. Um, so you're going to get things like anxiety, you're going to get panic attacks, you're going to get your whole mind is going to start to the overthinking and the panicking and the worst case scenario and things that never used to bother you before. During menopause, it's like the end of the world, it's the end of the earth is happening. So
Mhm.
menopause is going to affect the mind as far as that goes, the mental health, depression. I mean, I know Dr. Bridgewater talked about this last week of depression, the low, estrogen, the low progesterone, all of these things that are happening is going to affect our mental
Mhm.
health. It's it just happens. So yes,
Yes.
menopause will affect the mental health. Without a doubt, it will affect the mental health.
Yeah. And I think if we don't understand the changes, then one other impact on our mental health can be, what's wrong with me?
Mhm.
Why am I being this way? Why am I weepy? Why can't I manage things that I used to manage? Why am I so snarky? Why am I so snappy?
Mhm.
Until we realize that this can be part of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. And I mean, I think most
What would
women
you
can.
recommend as like,
Yeah, go ahead.
no, you were saying most women can?
No, I think most women in their menopausal years can testify to some, or you talk about being snarky and short-wicked, as I call it, because of the hormonal surges. So being able to um, recognize and be in awareness of that, I think is going to be super. That empowers us that we don't have to be that way. That's what I love about this journey is that everything that is happening to us, from
Mhm.
the physical to the mental, we don't have to accept it. We don't have to be this way, that we have the power to change how we want to feel, how we want to show up.
Right. Because I can't change the fact that I'm going through this, but I can change how I show up. Am I choosing to allow myself to be that miserable old lady? Or am I gonna be mindful about it and choose how I let myself feel? Like what are the techniques that I would be using if I want to make this choice and I don't want to dive into the negative? What are some of those mindfulness techniques or exercises that I could do to
Oh,
manage this stuff?
there is so much that, as I said, you can go online and you'll find, oh my goodness, so many things to do. But for me, I chose the one that I know that when I started on this journey, really, really worked for me. So there are a gazillion apps to help with meditation. Meditation is one of the most powerful things that you can do for your mind to recenter yourself, because one of the things that we're taught as a mindfulness coach is that, where thoughts are going to come and thoughts are going to go. They're like clouds in the sky. They're going to keep moving. But what is so important is for us to recognize that we are not our thoughts. We are not them. They're just going to come and move on. So being able to go into a meditative uh, state, that if we go into meditation, is going to be able to take you out of that train wreck, so to speak, that stand back, just allow them to move along. So that's what meditation allows you to do. Just allows you to stand back and just allow what is happening to happen.
Mhm.
It's just going to happen, and you're just going to, So to me, meditation is one of the most powerful things that you can do. And there are so many different apps that you can go on. The two that I love is one is called the Calm app on your phone. 10 minutes.
Mhm.
I'm very much, I know Sharon touched on this in her first session, where I'm very much a guided. I started off meditation is I want somebody in my ear talking me through, bringing down my mind, whatever. Of course, I've moved on from that now, which is great. So there's a Calm app, and there's another one called Insight Timer, which you can go in and choose the ones that work for you. Breathing exercises.
Yeah.
I know, and Sharon talked about that, the yoga, the deep breathing, especially when we're having an anxiety attack. It is the heart racing, your lack of oxygen, so being able to tap into that breath to get that breath moving. So breathing exercises, there's so many that you can, again, apps for that. Go on Google different breathing exercises. Exercise, which I know you're going to talk about. Exercise, game changer for so many. Gratitude practices, journaling. Ladies, I cannot stress the importance of, you don't need to do anything fancy. You don't need to have a million books. You can take a piece of paper, you can type it on your phone, but just getting into the habit of every day, just writing down 3 things. We'll do 5, 3 things that you're grateful for. Gratitude practice really keeps that mind. It forces you to get out of the narrative of what's going wrong to what's going right.
Mhm.
And what am I so thankful for? It could be
Right.
it could be for us in Jamaica where we have no rain. It could be, oh my God, thank you for the rain that is coming, or whatever that is. So gratitude practice. Again, the 5 senses, which I think we talked about last week, or maybe it was in Sharon's, identifying the 5 senses, that something you can hear, touch, smell, sight, taste. Just go into that meditative, bring the anxiety in, sort of reel it in. Eating and drinking mindfully. I know you're going to touch about this, but this is something I talked about on a show, on a podcast recently. How many of us practice mindful eating? I can't tell you how many times I have eaten dinner and I cannot tell you, remember what I ate. I don't remember the colors. It was just to eat. Being
Right.
able to put your phone in another room while you're having dinner and oh my gosh, this is spicy, this is sweet, this is yellow, this is red, this is whatever. Mindful eating and mindful drinking. How many of us grab things, chug it, and we're on the road? Mindful eating and drinking, yoga.
Yeah, eating in the car.
Eating in the car, we're grabbing something on the go, French fries, whatever it is. It's ridiculous. And of course, my ultimate is nature. We live in a beautiful country. You can get by the sea and the mountains in one day flat. So those are just a few, but as I said, if you go online, oh my God, endless, absolutely endless. I'm just jumping in here. Sorry, go ahead. Yes, I'm just adding.
So I guess the technique to use then, is for me to be aware of what symptoms I'm experiencing. Like I may be aware that I get anxiety. And then when I'm not having an anxious state, make a decision that the next time that I have an anxiety episode, I'm going to do this and plan for it ahead of time, because all of these techniques are going to go out the window when you find yourself in the moment. So you have to be prepared for the moment, right?
Yes and no.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, for me personally, yes. When my mind flare, I know that I have my techniques to go to. But I think it's going to be important that your mindfulness becomes almost a way of life, Natalie, because too many of us are running around doing too much, not focusing. So when you live this, I know you're laughing because you're one of them, but it really is to be a way of living. That's what I like to see with mindfulness. It's a way of living. And I know that we can jump out of it at any point, but when you're living it, it then becomes easier. You don't have to, God, what are my tools? I'm having a panic attack. What am I supposed to do? It's like, oh, it's just seamless. You just so, okay, this is happening. Let me flow in. Let me flow into it. if that makes sense.
So how do you develop that mindfulness that's going to serve you in this period of life on an like, so that means every day I have to be doing mindfulness practices. Every day I should be meditating. Every day I should be practicing my breathing. Every day I should be journaling in my gratitude journal because I'm training my mindfulness muscle. Is
Yes
that
and well, yes and no. I
the
mean,
right
I don't want
approach?
anybody to feel, oh my God, this is another thing on their to-do list. So you start off very small. One of the things that I was trained in when I first was trained as a mindfulness coach was the first exercise that we had to do was we were to go and wash our hands. And while washing the hands, you had to really get into the temperature of the water, the smell of the soap, the feeling on your skin, what your hands looked like. And I mean, I've practiced that and I was so good at it, of course.
Mm,
So every now and then I go back in. Everything that you do, you can get yourself into that mindfulness state by just focusing on what you're doing. For instance, you're driving in the car. How many of us are driving in the car? We're thinking about, did I go to the bank? I have to go to the tax office. Oh dear God, I forgot to get dog food. And on and on and on. Whereas when you're driving, Natalie's scrunching her eyes. When you're driving, you stop to look at the beautiful bougainvillea. I love this song on the radio. Okay, I need to crank up this AC because it's way too hot in this car. Those are all mindfulness
mhm,
practices because what you're doing is taking your mind away from what you haven't done or what you're supposed to do to what is happening to you right now. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? What are you smelling? What are you tasting? What is delicious, whatever it is. So you see that, so it's really just
mhm,
ease to it until all of a sudden when you are not in it, and that's what I talk about, when you're not being
mhm,
mindful, you will then have very scattered thoughts where you're all over the place. You're going to start being judgmental towards yourself and to others.
mhm,
Also, when you find yourself
mhm.
being very judgmental, you're going to try and control others. You may even start noticing people's faults. That's when you know you're not being mindful because you're focusing on everything else except what is happening right here, right now.
Yeah, I think this is a practice that I need to be more conscious of because what I've found happening to myself recently is I will be, say I'm in the kitchen cooking and I'm thinking about my cooking, right? And then my daughter comes in and wants to talk, which I love that she wants to talk. But sometimes her talking is interrupting my focusing on what I'm doing. So I'm finding myself that's a moment that can cause me anxiety. Worse now, if my partner comes into the kitchen and he wants to say something, now I feel like, and that's a lovely thing to have two people that you love with you while you're doing something that you love. But for me, what it's been making me feel like recently is, oh my God, I can't do all of this at the same time, you know?
Mhm.
So I'm just wondering how maybe I have to stop one of those things and say, okay, let me listen instead of focusing on everything at the same time.
Absolutely.
You know?
And that is exactly
Yeah.
what you're supposed to do. And that's why with mindfulness, you're focusing on one task at a time. That is the beautiful thing about mindfulness. When you're
Mm,
meditating, you're focusing on meditating. When you're doing exercise, you're focusing on exercise. When you're doing um, whatever it is that you're doing, if you're focusing on that one thing, then you are in a mindful state. The minute you start thinking about everything else except what you're doing, you're no longer in a mindfulness state. But what I want to talk a little bit about, because we're going to jump to you in about 5 minutes, is you talked
mhm,
about relationships. You talked about your partner coming in and there's that. So I want to talk a little bit about that. Women going through menopause do a lot of them do not share with their partners or their husbands what is happening to them. So what ends up happening is there's a lot of conflict, there's a lot of misunderstanding. The men do not truly understand when you go from in such a fantastic mood to within the split second, you are tearing him a you know what. And men are just like, whoa, what the heck is going
Yeah,
on?
where'd that come from?
Where did that come from? So
Yeah.
that's another thing with mindfulness is being able to be in that mindful or that mindset then to make sure you share with your partner, share with the people that you love what is going on, what mindset, what state of mind that you're in, so that they can fully support you and really be able to navigate, help you navigate this journey. Because, ladies, we're not supposed to do this alone. Anybody watching this replay can testify. We are not meant to do this journey alone. So you thinking this bravado, I gotta hold my you know what together, I gotta be strong, and the men just have to deal with it. Full, absolute full. Be vulnerable. Share with your partners
Yeah.
and your husbands what's going on. Yeah.
What are you feeling? Yeah. And I guess maybe sometimes some of us we don't want to come across as a complainer because there can be a lot. Like my knee hurts today, my shoulder hurts today, I feel bloated. Oh my God, I feel overwhelmed. Like you can feel like, wow, all of a sudden I'm just complaining. But I agree with you. I think it's important to let your partner in. So joke, yesterday I said, my goodness, it's so hot. I'm really hot. And then my partner says, it's not that hot. It's just you're going through that thing. I was like, no, 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 no. Let me explain. A woman getting older, her general body temperature is not rising. I'm not generally hotter. If I were having a hot flash, which I haven't started to have yet, thank goodness, but it's going to be episodic and then it's going to go away. It's not that no, I'm always feeling heat more, right?
Correct.
So he wasn't being facetious. He really just thought that that's what happens. You're just going to feel hot all the time. So I think we have to teach. As we learn, we have to teach. We have to share.
Absolutely. And this is
Yeah.
one of the things that I do in my practices is that being able to empower women to empower their men to support you is the best tool that you can give yourself, the best gift that you can give yourself. Because yes, hot flashes are going to be like a volcano has exploded in you. And then all of a sudden it's gone. So in that moment, if you can express to your partner, this is what is happening, give me 10 minutes, give me 5 minutes, I just need to work through this, they'll appreciate that rather than you're having this volcano, he comes along to try and hug you, touch you, whatever, you explode even more because your emotions, the heat, everything. And guess what that leads you? Into an argument, no doubt. So being able to say, babe, this is what is happening. Give me 10 minutes. I just need to go drink some water. I'm going to go down to the shower, whatever it is. It's happening, ladies. How you want to show up, that's all on you, not your partners, not your girlfriend, not your children. It's all on us.
Right.
Yes.
It's
so definitely, it's all
How
on
are we
us.
choosing to go?
Yeah. So on that note of
Yeah.
hot flashes, I would love for us to
Yeah.
let's shift to I've worked on, the mental side because there are these mindfulness practices and there's so much benefit to practicing mindfulness. I'm actually thinking I'm going to do a whole masterclass again. I've done it in the past. I'm going to do it again on mindfulness. But let's switch gears a little bit to you're having a hot flash, you're having an anxiety attack, whatever it is. You're using your techniques of your breathing and all of that, but you're just feeling okay. This is really not kicking this thing in the bud. So let's talk a little bit. Let's turn to you and let's talk about supplements. What supplements should I be taking? Natural supplements? Let's go into what I can do to augment the mindfulness practices that I'm doing.
Absolutely. So as we go through different stages of life, our nutritional requirements are different, right? A pregnant woman needs more folate, right? a menstruating teenager or young woman needs more iron, right? So different stages of our life necessitate different focal points on our supplementation. One thing that we should be mindful of. So I'm going to talk about base nutritional supplements first before we get into symptomatic stuff. So from a base perspective, we want to be protecting our bones because we know that as estrogen starts to fall, we run the risk of losing bone mass, right? Bone density. Exercise is very important as a counterpart to supplementation, to eating well. But taking your calcium and your calcium, magnesium, D, and zinc, those are great at maintaining the integrity of your bones.
Okay.
Then we want to be making sure that we're getting our omega-3 fatty acids, right? So I have a bunch of supplements here with me that I can show you, but you want to be taking your omega-3 fish oil in addition to your cal mag zinc.
Sorry to
And
interrupt
that's
you,
going to give
Natalie.
you good foundation.
Tell me a little bit about the omega. What exactly does that do? Because I've heard so much about it with the menopause.
So the omega-3 fatty acids are very heart protective. They reduce inflammation in the body as well. Now, one thing that happens as our hormones start to decrease in volume, in proportion in our body, is we are predisposition towards heart-related issues will arise. So as our hormones start to fall, we're at risk of muscle mass loss, we're at risk of bone density loss, we're at risk of heart-related, cardiac-related issues. We're also at risk of insulin and diabetic issues. So the cholesterol, the diabetes, the high blood pressure, all of this stuff starts to come in as our hormone levels start to fall. So we want to be protective and supportive. We want to protect the heart and support the heart with the omegas. It's also great to keep your skin vibrant and anti-inflammatory. The magnesium is really important, right? Magnesium, not just for your bones and your muscles, but for your relaxation, for your ability to sleep. So many women find taking a magnesium glycinate close to bedtime is going to help sleep. And sleep is really important. The studies are showing that women need more sleep than men. So let the guys get away with the 6 and 7 hours. We ladies, we need our 7 and 8 hours in order for us to be feeling optimal. So very often magnesium will help with that.
I can
Now,
testify
if sleep is
that it does.
issue,
I have been taking
yeah,
magnesium for every day, and I don't eat before bed. I put it in my protein shake in the morning. I have been doing that for
okay,
probably a year now. And Natalie, can I tell you let me tell you something. My sleep through menopause has been incredible as a result of magnesium. So
nice.
I highly recommend doing the magnesium glycinate. Sorry, had to plug that in there. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that sort of first-hand perspective is really awesome. Yeah, it's very, very helpful. Now something else that can be happening to us, kind of closely related to having sleep issues, is the anxiety and yeah, those anxiety and the panic attacks and just not feeling that we're fully in control, those sorts of symptoms. I find that ashwagandha is very helpful for managing our cortisol response. Now, ashwagandha is something that you don't want to get habituated to. So you may take it for a month and may take a break for a week and then may start back for another month and then take a break for a week. So you do want to give your body a little break, or maybe you take it Monday to Friday and you don't take it on the weekends.
Okay.
But ashwagandha helps to support healthy cortisol levels. Yeah. Something else that's really beneficial Something else that's really beneficial for stress, anxiety is something called GABA. Now, GABA, the medical name is gamma aminobutyric acid. GABA is what your body releases. It's a neurotransmitter that we release in response to cortisol. So we go through a stressful episode, cortisol goes up. The episode is over, our body sends out GABA to bring the cortisol down. Well, problem is that we live in a state of chronic stress, and then our hormonal changes make that stress even more, right? So the body is stressed and we're feeling the feelings of anxiety, which are very real. Like, you can't just tell yourself, calm down, snap out of it. Like, these are very real feelings. GABA is very useful as a regular supplement. If anxiety is one of the symptoms of menopause that you are experiencing, taking GABA on a daily basis is going to help. And having it in your purse, if you feel an episode coming on, and taking it as an emergency rescue in that moment will also help. Yeah, very powerful stuff. And it, again, yeah, man, I keep my GABA close at hand because that's my biggest symptom. So,
do you have a bottle to show us?
Yep, it's a bottle. Yep, it's so it's a thorn product. It's a thorn product. There's 100. So there's GABA 100, there's GABA 250, just the strength. You know, if it's mild and subtle, you can get to it with 100. But if you want more oomph, you would want the 250. Yeah, so that's your stress and your anxiety. Now, some of us just don't feel as vibrant. Right? So some of us were feeling low energy as we enter this phase of life. We're low energy. We don't feel sexy. The sex drive is falling off a little bit, right? Now we're looking at adding things like sea moss gel into our diet. Sea moss gel, old time we used to call it Irish moss. And only back in the day, only Rasta man drinking them roots would have him Irish moss. Now everybody is having sea moss. And it's a wonderful thing because sea moss has so many nutrients, micronutrients that we don't just get in ordinary, average, everyday food. So a tablespoon in your smoothie, a tablespoon in your soup, in your cooking, you're making a curry. When you finish cooking, add some sea moss to that. You can bring it in any form, any liquid form of anything that you're taking. You can add it in. And it really is flavorless. It just has a very odd texture. So I do know people that just put it in a tablespoon and swallow it. To me, that's akin to swallowing egg whites. I just couldn't bring myself to doing it. But if you can, power to you. But getting the sea moss in is important. So is maca. Maca is Peruvian, the Peruvian root. And both for men and women, it's great for energy, vibrant feeling, and specifically sexual energy. It's not going to make you horny, but it is going to bring back that vitality in general life and that sexual vitality for you. You know, and we want to feel sexy. Come on, right? Now, on the topic of sex, women may experience vaginal dryness, and you mentally want to have sex with your partner, but physically the body is just not cooperating. And that can be a very devastating situation. So we have a natural intimacy formula made by the Healthy Woman. This is a nice Jamaican brand. She has a complete line of products that help so many things that women go through. And in here we have the maca, we have Tribulus terrestris, black cohosh, and slippery elm. And this helps with vaginal lubrication. So if you know the weekend is coming up, and weekends are normally when you and your partner have time to make love, maybe you start taking it on a Wednesday, because it's not a take it now. It's not a little blue pill. It's not take it now and it works same time, right? So you're going to want to take it for a couple of days, and then you will notice that you will become wet when the time is right. Right? So this is good to have on hand. And for your general menopause symptoms now. So I'm getting everything. I am feeling the mood swings and the hot flashes and the night sweats, and I'm just not feeling myself, and I need some menopausal support. We have quite a few really good blends that a lot of our favorite brands have put together. So Thorn has something called Meta Balance, right? Which has chase tree extract, wild yam, black cohosh, and pycnogenol. And this, you take 2 of them daily, and this helps to balance out how you're feeling. Now, which is another really nicely well-recognized brand, has a menopause support formula as well. And it's got everything that the Thorn has, but it also has a few others. Like it's actually got Dunqua, red raspberry, red clover, a soy isoflavone powder, which, you know, soy is a phytoestrogen. So it's also got something called 5-HTP. 5-HTP is a precursor to serotonin. Serotonin is your happy molecule. No serotonin, no happy. No 5-HTP, no serotonin, no happy. So this has 5-HTP. No, you know, it like we may feel a certain way, and our feeling a certain way is a lack of a nutrient. It's not that we're broken. It's just that we need more of something. Just like when your plant starts to wilt, that's a sign that it needs water. Or if the leaves start to yellow, it's getting too much sun or it's not getting enough sun, right? So when we feel a certain way, it's a sign that we need more of something. So very often, if we don't have the molecules that allow us to feel happy, we can't feel happy no matter how much we try, you know? So it's a really good supplement as well. And then we've got these two, Promisil and Estroven. These are other menopause formulas specifically now to deal with hot flashes. So if hot flashes are your thing, these guys will, yeah, they've got the red clover and other botanicals. This is the black cohosh, the soy isoflavones that are gonna help. So do you need to take all of this? No, this is overkill for you to take everything that I have here. But the general baseline nutrients are important, right? The magnesium, the calcium, the D, the zinc, and the magnesium, calcium, D, zinc, and the omega. That's your baseline. Yeah, omega-3 fatty acids, right? That's your baseline. Now, if you're having hot flashes, come talk to us at the Life Store and we can recommend something for the hot flashes. If you're having anxiety, we have something that can deal with. If you're not sleeping, we have something that can help with the sleep. So now we can start to do the additional targeted stuff. But the important beginning is to get the baseline stuff in, right? Now, we tend to, as we get older, and this is not necessarily menopausal related, but just aging related, our skin becomes less elastic, less youthful, right? And something that's very amazing to add into your repertoire is collagen.
Absolutely.
Right? So we've got different types of collagen. We've got collagen with vitamin C. We've got collagen with, well, if I call these names, you're going to say I'm cursing bad words, but different supplements in with the collagen for different purposes, right? So the Thorn products are specifically anti-aging, but all collagen, once you're taking collagen peptide, we're helping the skin stay youthful and, you know, vibrant. And the final supplement I want to share with you is creatine. Now, we tend to lose a lot of muscle mass, men and women, as we get older. And one of the symptoms of menopause is also brain fog, right? We spoke about that. Creatine helps both. Creatine helps maintain lean muscle mass, and it also helps with protecting us from cognitive decline and helps to sharpen our mental acuity. So whether you're taking it just before a workout, just after a workout, or regularly in the day, the creatine is going to help. Right now, it used to be a man's supplement. It used to be, oh, it's going to make you gain weight. You're going to get bulky. No, there may be an initial water retention for a couple of days while your body's getting used to the supplement, but after that, you're back to normal, you know. So that's for your supplementation. And my team at the store is very versed in what supplements are beneficial for what you're experiencing, you know.
Okay,
But
so I have a question for you.
supplements aside,
Yeah, I had a question for you. You talked about the baseline. Is there one supplement that you can take that just has those baseline and then you add, okay, I'm having hot flashes or I'm having the sleep or whatever. Is there like a baseline supplement or is that just your regular multivitamin?
so your regular multivitamin will have a formulation for women that are postmenopausal because we don't then need to supplement with iron as much. So the nutritional differences are there. So there will be a baseline multi. That's always good. And then you're gonna want to add in the extra magnesium if sleep is an issue, the omega-3s, because a multi is not gonna have your omega-3s. So,
Okay.
yeah, and then the D. The D is important.
D and the zinc you said as well.
D and zinc, yeah.
Okay, so
But
let's
if I
talk a
had to
little
pick
bit.
just one from all of
Yeah,
that, I would pick
Mhm.
magnesium.
Magnesium. Okay.
Yeah.
I love magnesium. As I said, that has been a game changer for me. Magnesium has been great. Okay, so let us in the last 10 minutes that we have, exercise. Let's talk a little bit about that because there's so many different things. You know, they talk about yoga, they talk about walking, they talk about adding weights. There's just so much, you know, people who don't, you know, want to do the weights because they don't want to bulk up. Women don't want to get bulked up. But then you talked about losing a lot of muscle mass as we age in this time. Give us a little idea on what is a good balance then for us?
Yeah, so that's a great question. You know how you said that mindfulness should become a lifestyle?
Yeah.
Movement has to become a lifestyle, right? So your yoga and your Pilates are going to maintain joint mobility and flexibility. So it's important that you bring in one or both of those, maybe once a week, right? It's important that you do resistance training twice, maybe 3 times a week. Now we're talking about adding weights, right? Now, if you've never exercised before, you cannot just be a 55-year-old woman and going to the gym and decide that you're going to start leg pressing and squatting because you're going to hurt your joints because your joints have not kept up, right? So it's going to be beneficial for you to work with a trainer who understands the needs of a premenopausal, perimenopausal, postmenopausal woman and takes their time with her. But muscle mass decline, the only thing that's going to keep away muscle mass decline is eating enough protein and resistance training. So resistance training is important. Now, if we talk about cardio, high intensity interval training has become like HIIT. It's a big buzzword. We got to do the HIIT training. Yeah, you do the HIIT training when you're in your 20s and 30s, maybe in your 40s. Women that are going through their perimenopause, menopausal state, HIIT training may not be what we need, right? HIIT training may raise our cortisol levels too high and our cortisol levels are already climbing up, right? So swimming is great aerobic activity and it engages every muscle in the body, even the core, right? Really important. Walking. Don't underestimate the power of walking. And I'm not talking about strolling. I'm talking about a walk that gets your heart rate up. Now, where should your heart rate go? All right, you're going to want to write this down. You're going to take, and it's a rough estimate, depending on your fitness level, this number may change, but general rule of thumb, you take 220 right? 220 minus your age. So let's say you're 50. 220 minus your age is 170. That is your maximum heart rate. We want your walking to take you to somewhere between 75% and 80% of that maximum heart rate. So you multiply that 170 by 0.75 and you get 127. And you multiply it by 0.8 and you get 136. So you want to be walking somewhere that gets your heart rate up 127 to 136. So let's just say, okay, I want to get my heart rate to 130. That's not a stroll in the park. That's a brisk walk, or it's an uphill walk, right? That's a walk on a treadmill at an incline of 3 at a pace of 3.5 to 3.7, right? So we do have to, it's not just like, oh, I'm just gonna go for a walk. Okay, those are good too, but we want to get the heart rate up. And we want to keep it there for about 30 minutes, right? And if I said to you, do that every day, what's hard about walking for 30 minutes every day? What's hard about walking for 30 minutes 4 days a week? Can you find 4 days a week that you can go for a walk?
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Can you then find 2 days a week that you can take an hour strength training? And strength training doesn't have to be a gym. It can be, I'm doing bicep curls in my living room. I'm doing squats in my living room. I'm doing lunges in my living room. I'm doing push-ups, right? Something that's challenging the muscle. And then a yoga class, whether you're going to Sharon's Wednesday night yoga class, or you're going to somebody else's yoga class, or you're going online and finding a yoga class. So, you know, there are options, but we have to get away from this, oh, I gotta exercise mentality, and movement is where it's at. We have to move our body, and we have to move our body every day.
Yep, definitely. I love that. I love thank you for the numbers with the heart rate, because I mean, I'm somebody who walks and I also do, you know, home workouts, but I'm actually never tracked my heart rate. So that's what I'm going to do starting tomorrow. Have a little Fitbit thing I'm going to go and check out. But that's good to know. And balance. I love the fact you talked about balance, being able to do your yoga and your Pilates and that sort of stretching, doing that, plus, you know, getting up that heartbeat. So I think that's incredible. Let's, in the last couple of minutes that we have, let's talk a little bit about diet, foods, what to incorporate, what not.
Yeah. So I want my women to focus on three things when it comes to nutrition. Okay, 4, because you have to drink water, right? But 3 things. You need to be getting adequate protein. Adequate protein is, what is your target body weight? Say it's 150, right? You have to be eating 0.75 to 1 gram of protein per pound of target body weight. So if you weigh 150, you need to be eating 112 to 150 grams of protein a day. And I challenge you, count it up in a fitness tracker, you're not getting that much protein, right? So that's number 1. Get your protein in. Number 2, get your fiber in. We need 25 grams of fiber a day, right? Fiber is really hard to get in. You think you're eating a big salad, you're getting fiber? No, you're not. Put it in a fitness tracker, see how much your food is giving you. You're going to be woefully under. It's pear season. Avocados are a great source of fiber, but very many times we have to add a fiber supplement, a scoop of fiber, extra chia seeds, those kind of things to get the fiber up. So protein and fiber, and then your vegetables, right? If you're eating all the protein and all the fiber, and then filling the rest with vegetables, you don't have time for junk. There's no more space for junk, right? And we've got to eat the vegetables. We've got to eat like 2 cups of vegetables a day, and it has to be a variety of colors, because every color has a different phytonutrient.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we want to be crowding out the processed foods, the sugary foods, the made in a factory foods. And everybody's favorite vice, alcohol, is going to make every menopausal symptom worse, right? So you think you're stressed out, so you're going to go have a glass of wine, it's going to make your anxiety worse.
And the hot
you can't
flashes.
manage the hot flashes, you're feeling stressed out about it, you're going to go have a it's gonna make the day after you drink, your hot flashes are gonna be worse.
Mhm.
So I don't know how you and your relationship with alcohol are gonna sort each other out, but and I haven't got to this stage yet, but my advice, if you want to feel amazing, you're gonna have to break up with alcohol. Yeah, I think that's the God honest bottom line.
I
I
think
haven't
that
gotten there yet.
and trust me, you don't want to get there. But I do believe that there's a balance to everything. And I think that when you talked about the types of foods that you're eating, um, there has,
Mhm,
having balance is going to be so powerful in allowing you to, these are all tools that we are giving today to being able to thrive through the menopause. Now, does that mean that you have to cut everything out of your diet? Me personally, I think that you have
mhm,
to go based on what works for you. So if you're finding that, I don't know, your glass of red wine on a Friday night is really giving you hot flashes, maybe you try, a white wine spritzer, or you try something else that's gonna, still give you that, okay, I need that downtime, but it's not going to elevate. So I think that as we go
mhm,
through this journey, that it's about finding the balance.
mhm.
Because as I said earlier, this journey is happening with or without us. And the choice is ours, what tools we have to put in our little tool bag to make sure that when the anxiety or the hot flashes or the racing heart or the panic attacks or the belly rise, as
Mhm.
the extra tummy, the exercising, the aches and the pains, all of these things are going to happen, some more in others. But when we have a tool
Mhm.
bag that has all the tools, we can just open it up, fetch it out, and attack it the way that works for us. So I think that having that balance is going to be so powerful for us as women, um, because that's what
Yeah.
empowers us to, this is our journey, this is our time to thrive, to be the most beautiful creatures through a mindfulness state, through a state of calm, but also feeling so powerful in our bodies, where we feel good, we've had sleep, we feel strong, we feel energetic, we're not snapping at our partners and our husbands and our children all the time. That and the only way to do this
Mhm.
is to armed with this information to say, all right, panic attacks are starting to happen to me now. What tool do I go in and say, is it my supplement? Is it my breathing technique? Is it that I need some self-care?
Mhm.
Um, Whatever that is. Ah,
Yeah, Carrie Ann is saying
okay,
that
yeah,
she now understands. Yep. Living
yeah,
proof, right?
absolutely. And it is a thing. But everybody has to, as I said, everybody has to do it according to what works for them. Absolutely. But it's all about the tools. Um, yeah, of being able to really get in there and arm
Yep.
ourselves with what we need. So Natalie, I think you've given us some amazing stuff here. I'm going to check out a couple of these things myself. As I said, magnesium has been a game changer for me. The magnesium glycinate, since I added that to my smoothie every morning, my protein shake every morning. And the protein, you talked about adding the protein. Since I have upped my protein intake, I am feeling so much more. Absolutely.
Better.
Better. And the thing is,
Yeah.
I'm a I guess you could call me a vegetarian or pescatarian. So I do marine collagen. So that is something that women who,
Okay.
I don't want to do collagen because I don't eat beef and I don't eat that. There are options, ladies. There is marine collagen that you can pop in your shake, you pop in your coffee, you pop in your matcha tea, whatever it is, to really, you can sneak that protein in every mouthful you put in
Mhm.
into yourself. You can sneak an extra how many ounces of protein. And that's how because some people think, oh my God, I have to go and sit and drink a whole protein shake. Oh my God, I'm going to die. it's not about that. It's if you add collagen into your coffee, you're adding, I don't know, 11 grams of protein or whatever it is that in my marine collagen. That's 11 grams of
Yeah.
protein in your coffee. It's
Yep.
amazing.
Yep. Yep.
So
As a matter of fact, you know what I do
amazing.
sometimes in my coffee is I take the protein powder and I mix it really thick and I use it as a creamer so that my coffee is now like a protein coffee.
I never thought of doing, when you say
Yeah.
mix it thick, what do you do? Put water
I
with it or what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mix it with water. But instead of putting like a scoop and like a bottle of water so that it's a shake, I'll put a half a scoop and then maybe just a little water so that it, gets creamy like a cream, and then put that in my coffee.
I love that. I'm definitely going to try that because again, it's a way to sneak in the extra protein. Because I mean, whether it's your tea, your coffee, or whatever, I think that's a great
Mm-hmm.
idea. Making a creamer out of your protein powder. Awesome, Natalie. Thank you. So what I'm going to do is
Mm-hmm.
in our replay, when I send out the email with this video, what I'm going to do is I'll just make a few notes of what I had written
Mm-hmm.
down. You had sent with me so the baseline ones, the collagen, the GABA, the CMOS, the macro. I'm just going to type that in there. So for all the ladies that are watching the replay, you can get back to your email and go and check Natalie at the live store and go and have a consultation and just get yourself back on track. If you're feeling off track, go and check it out. Back on track. Thanks so much, Nat.
And Nikki, I'm gonna send you a discount coupon
Okay.
to add to your email so that the ladies that get this email will get a discount so that they can come into the store and we'll know that they were a Menopause Monday participant.
Absolutely. I think
Yeah.
that's great. Yes, carry on. What you can do, yes, there will be an email sent out to you. If you have any problem, just respond to the email, carry on, and I'll just make sure you get sorted. But as soon as this is finished downloading and whatnot, by this afternoon, I'll send out the replay, which will have that Natalie's discount. I'll add a little something for myself and all of the information that you just shared with us. So I think this has been a great session. Natalie, thank you so much. And we're back on track, right? Ooh, look at that. All right, my darling, that's a love. And we look forward to next week. I am on with Dion Cecile, and I think you're traveling, but you're going to try and jump in if you
Yes.
can in between flights or whatever. But we're going to talk a little bit more about
Yep.
perimenopause, what to look for, more anxiety,
Yep.
all that kind of fun stuff. So awesome. Love to chatting with you, Natalie, and we'll see you next week.
Sounds great. All right. Bye, ladies.
Bye, ladies.